Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Sisterish Show. It's your favorite sisters, Jackie and Athena, and we are coming at you guys. There's 2 more episodes left in this season, and we are so grateful and excited to close this season out so strong. I'm over here in my little cropped sweater, just vibing, and we are going to be talking all about New Year's resolutions today and why we have the unpopular opinion of thinking that they are so dumb and useless and don't do anything. And not really, but kind of. So I've never been a New Year's resolutions girl. I don't know. I've never really been the type of person that like, oh my gosh, January 1st, let me sit down and write a whole list of things. Maybe one day I'll get to that level of organization. But I don't know. Have you ever been a New Year's resolutions type of girl? I know you're a start on Monday type of girl. So are you a January 1 type of girl?
Oh my gosh, you called me out on that. So I'm definitely a start on Monday gal. Like that's my thing. New Year's resolutions, no. I think that they're complete and utter bullshit. And the reason why I say that is because it's like when you go to the gym and it's so full in January and then literally it's like February, there's just the regulars there. I think that and I'm a firm believer in not waiting for
Yeah.
that. Meanwhile, I know it sounds hypocritical because I am a Monday kind of girl. There is something so magical about a clean slate. Like, I'm so excited about this year being over. Like, I'm so ready for it. And I did finally finish my Kardashians. I don't know. Did you finish the season this season?
I am almost done with this. I'm in the season finale. I have like 30 minutes left.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's one
yeah.
of my guilty pleasures when I want to turn my mind off. But Chloe always is talking about how she just like can't wait to be 40. And I really can
Oh
resonate with
my
that.
gosh. I just watched that episode where she was like, I'm so
Yeah.
done with my 30s.
Yeah. And so I like that for 100 reasons. And I know my conspiracy sisters listening are like, you listen to the witches. And like, yes, I do. But I do respect the work ethic in all of them. And I love to see a good like female entrepreneur. And I just think it's literally just for me, it's just comedy. And I do like resonate with some of their things.
Yeah.
But when Chloe says that and she's like, yeah, I can't wait to get out of my 30s. That's how I feel about 2023. And I think that's why I have this like understanding of people that set the goals. So I'm not saying that I believe goals are dumb and I don't believe that goals are BS. I think waiting for January 1 is. That's where
Yeah.
I stand.
Actually, like I would say I think goals are probably one of the most important parts of developing who you are as a person. Like you need to have goals and structure in your life in order to reach the next point. Even me in like my career and all the like different ambitions and things that I enjoy to do, even with this podcast, like goals are necessary and they're so important into reaching the next step. But I think that the issue is when the goals that you have are revolved around a certain time or like waiting to start them for a certain reason. I think that there's kind of a little more behind that you're
Mm-hmm.
kind of setting yourself up for failure because you're not setting goals for the right reasons. And I
Yeah.
think that's kind of why they end up failing like 3 weeks in because you're just setting them because it's a new year. And I love a good fresh start. I think it's really beneficial for your mind to kind of feel that like decluttering of the past year and starting new and fresh. But I think that you do have to have more of a foundation for why you are making goals other than just it's January 1. Let me compile a list of things that I want to do and that's it. Kind of like throw it all
Mm-hmm.
in the end.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think where we go wrong with New Year's resolutions is there's this idea of like, oh my gosh, I'm going to make this huge crazy radical change on January 1. I'm going to change everything and it's sexy and it sounds sexy, but um those human like instinctual things of like you really cannot get to that $1 million mark in your business or those abs or that perfect peach booty unless you start with those little 1% changes and actions that no one sees. Not one person is seeing them and no one's noticing them. And I think we set ourselves up for that failure because we can't keep up with that like sweeping change. Like you even know with me and my health journey this year. And I know you and I had that Zoom last night with our mentorship with Resilient as a Mother. And it's like, if you don't take your goals in incremental bites and you just try to shove the whole hamburger in your mouth, you're going to choke.
Yeah.
That's my weird analogy for this episode. It's like it doesn't work. Like take baby bites.
Wait, not to bring us back to the Kardashians, but did you hear the part of the episode where Khloe was making fun of Chris and Scott for their analogies, and for Chris and I think Tristan, and she was like, my mom just like will come up with these analogies, and I'm just like, like, where are you getting that from?
Literally, and that's your sister right now on this episode.
And that's funny because I'm so bad at analogies. Like I cannot come up with an analogy for the life of me. And actually, when other people make analogies, I'm the one that's sitting there like trying to like figure it out in my brain.
There's a Dr. Kowalski, and he says that in order to change a behavior, you have to be uncomfortable, and nobody wants to be uncomfortable. So in order to see a lasting change, you have to be in a state of discomfort for a really long period of time. So we'll set these New Year's resolutions that are really big and they're really achievable, but there's like 30 steps that need to happen before you can even get one, like even close to achieving that goal. And so it's unattainable. And that's where human nature, we are built to avoid discomfort. We are programmed and wired in our brains and in our nervous system that if it feels like crap and shit and hurts and you're going to not do it. And that's exactly what we were talking about with the women is in our mentorship is like, you know, yeah, it sounds great. Like, I'm just, I'm never going to have a glass of wine ever again. Or I'm going to, like, we talk about 75 hard. And it feels so restrictive, which I've done 75 hard 4 times. And I love that kind of discipline. And I need those resets personally for my personality. But that doesn't work for everybody. And so I just think that as human beings and moms and women and sisters and aunts and just all of it, if you don't have goals, you're going to get nowhere. But then you also have to have the big goals and then the micro goals to get there, to use them as parts of the ladder. That you get to that.
I think that so when we did that challenge earlier in the year, I think it was kind of like you reached out to me and you were telling me how you just felt like you needed, I think we did the challenge before 75 hard, I think, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember the time. Yeah, I think we did it before. So you kind of reached out to me and you were like, I just feel really lost and super overwhelmed and like I need some sort of a reset. And I was like, come do this challenge with me. And it was really amazing. There was step goals. There was obviously everyday resistance training goals. There was a few other things like reading book goals and water and things like that. So it was a lot of just daily wellness habits that were really good to implement in your routine. But I think when you are facing that kind of like, I need a shift in my fitness journey, it does become very overwhelming for people. And I think that especially looking towards a new year, people all of a sudden are like, I want to be in the best shape of my life. I want to have the best body. I want to eat the cleanest I ever have. And you get so focused on those feelings of how you want to look and feel that you don't realize how important those tiny little baby steps are. So I think for me, when I framed it differently and started thinking more about, okay, so my goal is I want to get 10,000 steps every day. How can I set my day up for success so that I can reach that goal? For me, it was waking up earlier during the day and being able to get almost 5,000 steps before I even started work. And I know that some people might be like, whatever reason you have that you don't want to do that. I mean, again, that's why your goals are probably not working because you're not thinking about the smaller level of, okay, how can I set my day up for myself to be able to actually hit that goal? And I think a good goal has to obviously be reasonable. It has to make sense. It can't
Yeah.
just be going from 0 to 10,000 steps in a day. And I think that's
Right.
what I was trying to explain to you was if it seems very overwhelming and like the first day you tried doing 10,000, you were like, oh my gosh, I'm going to drop dead. Like, how am
Yeah,
I
I felt
ever
like
going
I
to
was
do
gonna
this?
die.
Yeah. And now it's such a normal part of your life because you've
Yeah.
rewired your brain to think of, okay, all these little activities that I'm doing are going to help me get my steps in. So that's kind of like a little
Yeah.
example that I feel like once you shift that in your brain of, okay, I have this goal set, it seems very overwhelming, but how can I set my day up for success so that I can actually reach that? It starts to feel less and less intimidating, and you're actually able to hit that goal. So
Right.
that for me is what I feel like kind of helped me in the fitness and wellness journey of my life is very much bringing it way down to like the bottom and
Yeah.
so that I don't
Yeah.
feel so overwhelmed.
Absolutely. So one of the things I keep seeing in a lot of the things I read up on goals, because I love, like, I don't know, maybe I should have been a psychologist, but I study people and situations in my life, in my own family, in myself, very self-aware. And I keep seeing these SMART goals pop up. And so what people are saying is specific, measurable, attainable or achievable, realistic or relevant, and then timely and tangible. And so when we set these goals up, we want to be able to put it in that. And I think that if you're listening right now, that could help you. So I'll say it one more time. Specific. So when you're thinking of a goal, it needs to be specific. I want to reach 10,000 steps by the, end of the month for every single day.
Right.
All
As
right.
opposed to saying like I just want to walk more or I just want to
Right.
eat better. You
Yeah.
have to be
Yeah.
specific.
And then measurable. It's like, I think a lot of the times, and I know like when I was coached this year, one of the things that kept coming up for me is I felt like a failure in certain areas in my life. And my coach is like, okay, so let's see if this is actually true. What's the evidence behind that? And when you start to unpack it, most times as women, we can't even measure our failure or success. We don't even have that marker. And so it's so important as human beings to have a marker, because when more chances than not, if I look back at myself last year, maybe there's not as many zeros in my savings account, but you grow in other areas that are absolutely necessary for you to hit those $1 million marks, or that goal in your health and wellness journey, or that goal in your marriage. It could be any kind of a goal. So let's make sure when we set the goals, there's a measure and marker. But remember, you're not defined by that. And then attainable or achievable. Is it actually attainable? Like, I can't say, sometimes we set these goals that are just ludicrous. Or the timeline is ridiculous. And then realistic or relevant, and then timely and tangible. So that's just something that I think that we can all really use that SMART analogy when we are looking at the new year, when we're looking at today, at this month. But in reference to what you said in the beginning of the episode, I think that we need to be setting goals for every single day and every single month. That's just who
Yeah.
I am. I am not waiting for the new year. Now, will I look at January 1 as a Monday? Absolutely. It's clean, it's fresh. That's why I'm with Chloe. I don't want to get out of my 30s yet, because I'm only 36, but like, let's get out of 2023, sis. Like, let's get out of here. I'm
Yeah.
ready for that fresh, clean new start, and leaving. It's so true too. Leaving that toxic, whether it's family, habits, mindsets, friends, like, leave them in that year and let's start this fresh. I am a big believer in that.
When the new year comes, a lot of people, I feel their goals are very fitness and exercise based. And I think that's amazing. And I think it's great that that's on people's minds. Side note, after you gorge yourself on the holidays for 3 months, but I won't go there.
Shots fired. Shots
Um,
fired.
yeah, actually, I will go there. So I think this is an example of you are not setting yourself up for success because you have this goal of January 1, I'm going to be in the gym, I'm going to be eating clean, I'm going to be walking more, I'm going to be drinking more water, but your behavior for the entire months of October to December have been the exact opposite. So you almost need like a rehab for what you have put yourself through the past 3 months. And people just,
You
if
need
you
a
are more
detox is what you
a,
need. A little
a
detox, a
detox, yeah.
cleanse, a cleanse.
So when you have more of a reasoning and thoughtfulness behind your goals, so if your goal is I want to start going to the gym 4 times a week, being more mindful and actually whether it's writing it down or talking through it with an accountability partner or someone, or maybe you have a trainer, someone like that, knowing why you want to hit certain goals is also very important. So people tend to just make a goal for the new year because it's a fresh start, but they don't know why they're actually making that goal. So let's say it's a career goal. Why do you want to hit that goal? Is it because you want to make more money? Is it because you want to better yourself? Is it because you think it'll give you confidence? Is it because you want to help other people? Like knowing why you want to hit certain goals in the space of going to the gym and bettering your body? Is it because you feel like you look like garbage and you want to look better when you look in the mirror? Is it because you're feeling tired, sluggish? Are you feeling overwhelmed? Are you feeling like
Mm-hmm.
you have no routine? Like, why do you want to hit these goals? And when you are able to narrow that down to one reason or two reasons, it makes it so much more satisfying and gives you like a boost of confidence when you actually hit that goal, because you know why you wanted to accomplish it and now you feel that way. And it's super satisfying and it makes you feel super good. So that's kind of what I feel like has worked for me when I've set goals in my career. I
Mm-hmm.
went into this year really wanting to, grow myself and be behind the chair full time. It was my first year of actually, like, I started at a new salon and I was starting to kind of help around and start taking clients. And I have it written down in my Google Docs, like my goals for this year. And I hit every single one of my goals. Like it was being more active on my social media and having my schedule booked. Like, and hitting those things has been so satisfying and just so like it gave me this sense of confidence that I
Yeah.
you don't even know is there until you hit that goal and you're like, wow, like I
Mm-hmm.
did that, and I did it because I worked hard and I put my head down and focused on these things that I wanted to hit, and I did it. And so it's so much more satisfying when you know why you want to hit things, and then when you actually do get there, you're able to be so proud of yourself. And it's an amazing feeling. And I think you can speak to that as far as like your goals that you've had also in your career and your health goals. Like I know you texted me being like, Athena, I feel so good about myself. And
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
haven't this whole year, and getting to that
Mm-mm.
point of feeling so good with yourself. It's priceless. There's no price or money you could put on that feeling of accomplishing something.
But our pain of not changing has to be greater than the pain of changing. So, you know, change in general, like I was saying before, or setting these goals that make you end up making you feel like complete crap when you don't hit them, it's all part of the process. And so there's been so many times in my career where I have a goal and I don't hit it, like the big goal. So for instance, I partnered with a network marketing company 5 years ago, and I built this badass wellness business that was very substantial. And, the driving force in the beginning of all that, which I think this would be great coming off of what you just said, was these ranks. But underneath the ranks was the freedom. And I kicked ass and have had $9 to $10 million in sales in the last, 5 years, which is absolutely incredible and insane. But I didn't hit that specific rank. And I think that, most people out there would be like, well, then this isn't for me. Like, if you have a goal in your business and you don't hit it, they'll give up. So when I didn't hit certain goals or ranks within the company that I represented and represent still to this day, it was a complete mind F for me. And I did feel like I failed. But you have to remember, it's only failure if you don't keep going, if you give up. And so, we have to trust the process of goal setting and goals in general. And then I am such a believer in, you will not hit the goal until you are the person that can handle that goal. And what I mean by that is, people will say your higher self, or, you know, it's your mindset, it's where you're at in your marriage, or where you're at in your career, or in your personal life. Like, you need to realize that God is putting a stop on that goal, because it's not that you're not worthy of it, but there's inner work that you need to do. And so when I look back at my businesses and I see what maybe others would call as a failure, I know that I'm like, ooh, sis needs to work on a lot of areas of her life. And that's why I'm successful, is I'm not over here playing the blame game on, oh, my leader, or my parents, or my cousin, or my husband, or whatever. You have to be able to look in the mirror and realize that goal is not for this version of who I am. And so, yes, you better do the work, sis. You better show up as the woman that hit that goal already. And for so many people, that's so hard. But like, I literally know someone that's a multi 7-figure entrepreneur in real life. And she literally would go on Zoom calls in 2020 with heels on. And I would like make fun of this person. And I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, because that future version of me that has 8 figures in her bank account, she wears stilettos. And I was like, wow, that's so
like
powerful.
So badass. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, literally no one knew she had them on. And I was so fucking inspired when I like heard that. And I was like, well, shit, what does the Jackie in the pink jet show up like? And I'm humbly a homeless dressing woman most of the time, but look at little areas of your life. Now, you might not want a pink jet one day that you can fly around without a COVID passport like myself, but maybe your goal is paying off your mortgage, right? Well, how would a couple, or a woman that pays off her mortgage in her 30s, how would she show up daily? And that, my friends, is the secret sauce to goals actually sticking, is you start to show up as that person, even though you didn't hit it yet. And that's not easy, because your kids might get in the way, your spouse, your boyfriend, your parents might be like, you could have all the odds against you. But if you can get your health right and your mindset right, and show up as your future self as much as you can now, it just will come. It all will come. It's like that manifesting thing that so many Christians don't want to talk about, where I know you and I, Athena, we can look back at our lives and it's like, man, it's almost like that manifesting works. But it's because it's in here. It's in here. It's in here. And I'm pointing to my head and heart. It's so powerful. You don't need a New Year's resolution. You need to have a plan for every damn day of your life, and you need to show up for that plan and that purpose.
I've said this so many times. If you guys heard the way me and Jackie talk to each other and like the things that we speak out loud, you would literally look at us and be like, what is wrong with you? Because
oh yeah, 100%.
The conversations that we have about how we envision our futures and our future selves, and just the type of life. And when I say luxury, I don't necessarily mean like expensive things. I just mean like both of us are such high value women, and we both want high value things in our lives, and we take our time and we take our energy so seriously. And whatever things that we want in our future, there's a reason for that. And it's none of it is superficial. None of it is so that we can show things off, or look a certain way to right, or look a certain way to other people. Like, there is reason behind all of that. And that's why when we are talking about our goals, I think it's so important to talk to other people about your goals. And whether it's your significant other or your friends or your sister, whoever it is so important to talk about goals and what things. Obviously, talk about them with people that you can trust. But when you do have that person or those couple people that you can openly talk about and manifest and put into existence the words and things that you want for yourself, those things will come. And people that have this mindset of, well, that could never be me, I could never make that or live like that or have that in my life, you won't. Like, period, you
Mm-hmm.
won't. And
Definitely.
and so I take the words I say so seriously. And when I talk about, oh, I want freedom in this area of my life or whatever it may be that my specific future self wants, I take it very seriously what I say. And when I talk to people,
Mm-hmm.
when I talk to you or when I talk to Joey about it, like, I talk as if I'm literally there. And I
Mm-hmm.
talk as if, not if it's going to happen, but just when. And that's
Mm-hmm.
it. Like, I have no question in my mind that I'll reach certain places. It's just I don't know the timing, and that's not up to me. So, and I'm okay
Right.
with that, because I know
Mm-hmm.
that if I put my head down and put in work in certain areas, that what I want will come. So,
Right.
I think I saw this kind of quote, and it was that mastery lies in consistency. And
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes people feel like, well, once I've already hit this goal, like, that's it. Or, you are so big on building that routine and building those tiny little habits to get to that bigger goal. And maybe one of the reasons you didn't hit that goal was a lesson for you in that you weren't building those tiny habits. I don't know, whatever it was that you feel like didn't get you there. But when you are able to be consistent and every day doing those tiny little things, that's where you truly will master something. And that's where you truly will come out hitting that goal, hitting that mark that you want
Mm-hmm.
to hit. And it makes you feel good, and it makes that goal long lasting too, because you actually feel good from it.
Yeah, your body will start to crave that movement if it was a health goal, or your body will start to crave, that high protein dish over the processed garbage, right? And it's so important that we remember that slow progress is better than no progress. I might eat the bag of junk food or have, a bottle of wine and feel like crap the next day, but constantly moving that marker forward and not focusing on what's behind us. And so, you restart, you reset, you refocus as many times as you need to, and not be afraid to start over, not be afraid
Yeah.
to fall on your face, and know that every single successful marriage and person and human has fallen on our faces. And actually, that's what makes us great.
And cultivating habits that will lead to these goals, that's rooted in having a sense of discipline and knowing why. It's not rooted in, it's January 1st, now I'm going to be this like whole new person. Guys,
Yeah.
you could wake up on January 1st hungover and bloated from carbs and still be the best person the next day, like that year. So
Mm-hmm.
just because like the calendar changes, that doesn't mean a thing. And I think if you stop placing value on the fact that it's a new day and a new year, and if you woke up hungover on New Year's Day, it's like the whole year is now gone to like shit. No,
Right.
like I feel like that's I feel like where the toxic thinking kind of comes. And I
Yeah.
just want, I just think if you are able to kind of sit down, whether you want to do it yourself or with another person, and really in your mind cultivate and think about what goals you want to set in your physical, your body, in your mind, in your your career, your business, whatever it is. When you sit down and actually organize your thoughts and organize your whys, you will get to that point, and you will get to that place. You will hit those goals and you will feel so good. And you don't need a January 1 to do that. You can do that on April 1, or you can do that on August 7th. Like, you can do that whenever you have had enough. So that's what I feel like people just need to keep in mind. Burn your New Year's resolutions. Burn them. Literally
Burn
burn
them
them like
down
the
to the
burn book.
ground, bitches. Yeah, the burn book. So here's what my little tidbit is: you can rise up from anything. You can rise up from anything. You can completely recreate yourself. And you don't need to be waiting for January 1 to do that. Nothing is permanent. Let me repeat that. Nothing is permanent. Not even in your 30s, not in your 40s, not in your 70s, sis. So if that's the case, then you're not stuck. and you have choices. If you're miserable in your body, in your marriage, in your job, you're not stuck. You are the only thing keeping yourself stuck there. And so you can think new thoughts. You can learn something new this year or next year or last year or today. We can all create these new habits that will get us to these goals. And I'm like, why are you waiting for January 1? Like, let's go right now. It's December 4th. I'm ready. All that matters is that you decide today and then never look back. So look at your life in that regard, and don't be commenting on my page saying I'm lucky, because we cannot be friends. So that's all I have to say about that.
In conclusion, burn your New Year's resolutions.
Burn them to the ground.
Right now, whenever you're listening to this episode, sit down and formulate what things you want to hit, what goals you have in each area of your life, and make a plan to get there. That's how you hit goals. You don't hit goals by sitting down on December 31 and coming up with a list of things that you want to do starting the next day, and boom, you wake up, it's new fresh leaf, you're a new fresh person, the end. That's not how it works. So burn that. Burn those resolutions and actually sit down and think of a long-lasting plan, and then what little habits you can start implementing daily to get there. And it's simple. It's simple. It's not hard. It's not complicated. Now, doing those things might be hard for you, but that's how you hit goals. And I promise you, as someone who is young and fresh and tried to, it's like, no one teaches you how to like do these things. Like no one's even like, no one sits down with you and teaches you like, okay, if you want to be in this place, and you want to hit this goal, you have to do this, and this steps. Like you have to do that for yourself. And when you do that, it's so satisfying and gives you a sense of confidence. And it's like, okay, I did that. Like now I want to move on to the next thing. And you get excited and you believe in yourself. And it's a really good feeling. I feel like I've gone through so many different periods of life where I'm like, I don't even know how to write a goal or create a goal for myself. And it's even doing that might be tricky for you. So I think I would love to help you. And we just burn those resolutions.
Yeah, absolutely. And just a reminder, there's no failure. You either win or you learn. And the learning, when you fall on your face, is the best kind of school and the best kind of learning, and reminder that you need to work on you and show up as the you that would be the person that hit that goal or had that goal. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode on burning the resolution, and we will talk to you next week.
We love you all.
Luck to